Hey guys, I'm Barb and welcome to episode 6 of Creators Campfire. If you're new here, then this is a live streamed podcast where I interview all sorts of creative people, so entrepreneurs, content creators, side hustlers, and general aspiring talent to find out more about what they do, why they do it, and how they do it. So, for those of us joining us live tonight, we will be taking questions throughout for our guest. So, if you do want to ask anything, just drop it in the comments below, and that doesn't matter what platform you are on. Tonight, we have with us Jamel Hamilton. He is a personal trainer and rugby player. Guys, please welcome Jamel. Jamel, hello.
Hello, Bob. Thanks for having me.
No, thank you for being here. This is good. This is very exciting. Awesome. So we had some technical difficulties before we started, guys, but we are up and we are ready to go.
Apparently, I'm the only person that doesn't use Google Chrome in the world, but
yes,
who knows?
Exactly. I am amazed. I honestly thought that everybody used Google Chrome. Anyway, we will let you off. We're here and we're good to go. All right, awesome. So let's kind of start a little bit back. When did you realize that you wanted to be your personal trainer or get into personal training?
Okay, yeah. So for me, it was like a tough one. It was sort of like a silver lining. So a bit of a backstory. I used to play. Well, I still play rugby, but I played rugby. I'm from Northampton Saints Academy. I basically got told that I wasn't good enough, hey ho. At 18, 19, whatever I was, it kind of felt like the end of the world. And then I was like, oh God, I need to actually find something that I'm going to make some money, because I thought that I was going to be a rugby player. And oh no, I'm not. So I kind of racked my brains a little bit. I was like, what am I good at? What can I do? What can I see myself doing? And basically anything that involved sitting at a desk went out the window. Anyone knows me personally knows that I could never do like a manual job or a labor job like outside, just because I'm not manly enough for that. Being one, and I've always gym through rugby, obviously strength and conditioning and stuff. So I thought, you know what, that sounds like a bit of me. Hopped on a course and just like that, really.
Fair enough. So did you, in order to be a personal trainer, obviously people have qualifications. Is it mandatory that you have to have a qualification in order to personal train?
Yes. So I'm going to be careful how I answer this question. So there's a few ways that you can go about it. Okay. So be a qualified personal trainer in the UK, for other countries it may be different, but you have to have a level 2 in fitness instructing, which is really easy to pick up. And then after you've done your level 2, which is the only prerequisite, by the way, so you could apply to go on a course, and they'll say to you, you need your level 2 fitness instructor before you can do your level 3 personal trainer. It is so easy to get your level 3 personal training now that if you apply on one of these courses and you don't have your level 2 in fitness instructing, they will literally tag it onto the start of your course, so you can do your level 2 and then progress straight into your level 3.
Okay.
But so you can either, there's a couple ways to go about it. So you can go to college. So after you leave school, instead of doing A levels, you can go to college and basically get a BTEC level 3. I think I didn't do it this way, so I'm not 100% correct, but I'm pretty sure you do about 6 months on your level 2, and then your remaining 18 months at college is then focused around getting your level 3. Okay. But then the way that I did it, and most personal trainers do it nowadays, and it why personal trainers I think get a bit of a bad reputation, is because you can actually pass your level 2 and level 3 in about 6 weeks. Okay, purely from online learning, and just paying for a course. You can do it in about 6 weeks now, believe it or not.
Wow. Okay, so is it that you actually have to pass an exam or an assessment at the end rather than having to go through all the learning?
So yeah, all I forget what they're called. They're like training bodies or whatever. There's like EdXL and AQA for like your school exams. There's different ones in the world of fitness personal training. So I did my course for a company called Premier Global. which was really good, by the way. Course is available. I did it through them guys. And basically, what you do is at level 2, you do a level 2 in anatomy and physiology. So effectively, I did 3 weeks learning of my level 2, and at the end of that, I had to pass a level 2 in anatomy and physiology, and a level 2 in nutrition as well. Okay, once I passed that, I then got the all clear, and then did an extra 4 or 5 weeks on my level 3 course. And at the end of that, you have to pass a practical assessment where effectively you do a mock PT session as such. And then at the end of that as well, you have to have a level 3 anatomy and physiology, which is actually quite tough, and a level 3 in nutrition, and something else as well. But the basic thing is, if you work hard over 6 weeks, you can effectively become a qualified personal trainer.
Oh wow! Okay, I didn't realize it was actually that quick, to be honest.
Yeah.
And are there different levels that you can do after that? As in, is it something that there's a 4 and a 5 and a 6 or something, and actually you could progress and become better or more trained, or is it not really like that?
Yeah, there definitely is that. This is kind of where I'm at the moment. You know, you get your level 2 and your level 3. As I said, you can do that in 6 weeks. Okay, and then the mistake that I think a lot of personal trainers do is at that point they stop learning. They think, oh, I've become a personal trainer, I can get clients, I can get insurance, so I can start making money. I'm going to stop at this point. 6 weeks is nowhere near long enough to sort of own your profession and you know, become good at it. 6 weeks is like, I always compare it to sort of taking your driving test. You know, you learn to drive for, say, you know, you have 8, 10, 12 lessons, and you drive like this at 10 to 2 on the steering wheel, and you come out your driving test, and the first thing you do is you put your hand like this, and you find your own way. So for me, it was, you know, you take your exams, you learn the base of what you need to know, but then after that is when you really start to learn your knowledge. In answer to your question, so you have your level 3 PT. You could then go into things like level 4 strength and conditioning, which I have done, which is obviously like a different avenue. You could potentially go down the sort of rehab side of things, but you know, that's more therapy, so you may need to go to uni for that. So you know, there's all these different avenues that people can take, but I always think to it myself, and I don't mean this badly on any PTs that are just PTs the whole life. Like, if that's what they enjoy doing, then like, that is great. Like, I love what I'm doing right now. But you know, I cannot see myself personal training in 20 years time. Okay, I see myself more maybe doing like sort of strength conditions for sports teams or something like that, a bit of progression.
Yeah. Okay. So for somebody who has decided, maybe they're at the same point that you were and said, okay, I want to go and be a personal trainer, I've got these, I need to do a course. Is there, so obviously the one you mentioned was one, is there a particular thing that they should look for in terms of picking one, or are they all effectively the same because you still have to cover the same material?
Yeah. So, okay, so my course I paid a bit of a premium for. Okay, it was a bit more expensive. This was coming up to 3 years ago now. Okay, so I took my course about 30 months ago, something like that. What I would say to people looking at when they pick a course is, you know, you could probably pay for a course. You could go for the most cheap one on the market, get your qualification, and come out the other side not a great PT. Okay, what happens then is people won't want to train with you. You won't get as many clients. You won't be able to build a base, and what you'll find is they'll probably stop PTing because things aren't going great, and it's much easier to get like a job than, you know, graft and work really hard and attain clients and stuff. So what I would say to people that are looking for a course is actually find a course where it has good feedback, and second, the most important thing is make sure you have some hands-on. Make sure when you come out of that course, you're actually going to have delivered a couple PT sessions. I know a few personal trainers that come straight off their course and they've never actually delivered, even if it's a mock PT session with other people on your course, they've never actually delivered a PT session with anybody. Right. So then they come out and they step into their first role and they've never actually delivered a session from start to finish. They've learned how to do a warm up, how to plan a session related to somebody's goals, and how to do a cool down, but they've never actually delivered a 45 or 60-minute session from start to finish. And people kind of freeze, like it's like anything. You could be the best player in the world, but when it actually comes to getting on the pitch and doing it, not everyone can do it. So I said, make sure that you actually gain experience from that course, hands-on experience from that course, from actually PTing.
Yeah, okay, that makes a lot of sense. So going back to you and your journey, so you've decided, or potentially been forced into this decision where you are now going down this route of, I'm going to go and become a personal trainer, and you've done your course and you've come out and you've gone, okay, I've got the qualifications, I can now go and do this. What were the next steps that you kind of took, and how did you start to build and get your first clients?
Okay, cool. So my start as a PT was rocky. Anyone that knows me probably thinks that I'm quite a confident person, and that's really not the case. I'm confident in two places: when I step on a rugby pitch and in the gym mostly. For me, fresh as a PT, I actually got my first job at Virgin. So I started working in a gym, and I wasn't great in terms of picking up clients. In terms of me actually approaching people on the gym floor, is not my strong point. Okay, obviously, every gym has different business model on what the PTs can and can't do, etc. A lot of PTs at that particular gym picked up clients from obviously speaking to them on gym floor, sort of interaction and stuff, which is what people would see as maybe like the old-fashioned way. But because of their business model, etc., that was how it worked. And I found very much that did not work for me, because if Jo was on the pec deck doing her 12 reps, I didn't really want to go up to her saying, giving her some advice, do you want some help? That wasn't my strong point. So I started at Virgin in January, and I'd left by the summer. Not because of them guys doing anything wrong, but because of how the gym was and how you got clients there. I didn't do very well at all.
Okay, so as a PT, they've taken you on, and you obviously have the option to go and get your own clients, but you are also working as a member of staff, right? So you have to do other things at the same time, so take classes and things.
Yeah. So the thing with that particular gym is lovely gym, a little bit more expensive, and you have to charge Virgin prices for your sessions. Okay. So the difficulty with that is you've got to convince someone to. Okay. Say for example, this person wasn't at Virgin already. Okay. So you've got to convince this person to join the gym. You got to convince this person to join the gym to start with, which is quite a hefty amount, and then you have to go to them. You actually have to pay premium PT prices then on top of that to train with me, and you've probably got a contract as well with that, and so that didn't happen. Like there wasn't very much sort of, say for example, Bhavna, you wasn't a member of Virgin, you wasn't a member of that gym. There wasn't much of me saying to you, from social media, you come and train with me, blah blah blah, because that's just not how it worked. People got their clients from the existing member base, and approaching people on the gym floor. So what you tend to do is, I think I worked 12 hours a week, sort of delivering classes, do a bit of cleaning, taking inductions, etc. But then on top of that, it was down to me to be in the gym, be active, be on the gym floor, trying to actively get clients. And I don't think from any experience, from my personal experience, no course actually tells you about this. No course tells you about how do you actually get them clients? It's all cool having the knowledge base to be able to deliver a great session, but when you come out the other side, how do you actually deliver how do you get people to buy your PT? That is not that's what doesn't get covered on the course.
Yeah, it doesn't cover like the business side of the actual business.
Yeah.
That's quite interesting, because actually when I was, I had a musician on called Takesha a few weeks ago, and she was talking about the music course that she went on, or actually she did music at university, sorry. And actually as part of that, they had a whole module or course on the business side of things. And I guess maybe that's the difference of having something covered in 6 weeks versus having something that's covered over, a year, 2 years, 3 years as part of the degree. You miss that vital information, but obviously it's absolutely key if you're going to start a personal training business to understand the business side.
Yeah, I totally agree. I mean, I genuinely feel that if you got told how consistent and how much graft you have to put in to interest people, to, because people think that people come up to you on the gym floor and go, PT me please, that's not how it works. But coming out of the course, I was one of them people. I thought that people were just going to come up to me on the gym floor and they'd become my clients, and we'd work towards the goals work towards like goals of each other. But when in reality, and this is a massive lesson that I learned from early on, I put so much time and effort into my current clients because it's so much nicer for me to create a relationship with them and continue training with them than it is to have, neglect your current clients, but have 4 new clients coming in every week, but then 4 leaving you every month because, you're not putting enough time and effort into them. So for me, one of the earliest lessons I learned was I would much rather keep one client and keep them happy than neglect them and have 3 new people every week. Because if you have loads of people coming in, your chances is that you're going to have loads of people going out as well.
That's an incredibly nice mentality, and it's refreshing that people do think like that, because there's obviously the flip side when people don't. And I guess from the other side, as somebody who would want a personal trainer, that's not the relationship you want to build either, because you obviously want to create that relationship as well. It's a 2-way street. Okay, so you've left Virgin. It's not for you. It's not working out. Where to next?
So then I kind of left Virgin, and I was and ahhing. People don't realise that in rugby, chances are if you don't play in the Premiership, so for the top 12 teams in the country, your wage is going to be not great. Okay, and as a 18, 19-year-old lad playing rugby who's not at one of the top teams, potentially maybe getting a chance as like a squad player or like a academy player at one of the like championship teams, so the second tier, I now had a massive decision to make whether I wanted to pursue being a personal trainer, so crack on with this career that I've just started, or actually commit to a rugby team, which was like full-time, but it's not like a full-time wage, wherever I wanted to commit to a rugby team. And if I did that, I would not have enough time to do my personal training. So basically, I was sat in a predicament where I earn not great money playing rugby, or I carry on with the career that I just started. My mum's a lovely lady. She puts a lot of pressure on me to play rugby. So, it was a tough time for me in terms of making that decision. But I went down the path of, I've started this career. So I want to crack on with this, and this is where my rugby took a back burner. So I joined a team called Leicester Lions, who play like National 2 South, which is like 4th tier in England. So quite a decent level, and I'm still there today. So I do that, and then I decided after Virgin that I would get another personal training job that fitted around that schedule, so I could do both, have the best of both worlds. It would be.
Have your cake and eat it too.
Exactly that.
That's what I like. That's my motto for life. Okay, so rugby is obviously a big part of your life. And I'm guessing for someone who had the chance to go pro is something you've been doing since you were very, very young. How difficult was it to, I guess obviously there's family pressure there, like you said, but is it something that you would have, you're at this point, you're thinking, you know, something, it's not even a back burner, like I could actually stop playing, I'm going to go 100% on this? Or was it still 50-50 in your mind of actually, I'm not fully giving myself to PT just in case, because I do love rugby?
I think I told everyone around me that, you know, the rugby dream hadn't died, because I initially got into rugby because of my grandparents, like massive followers and stuff. Like, so I kind of didn't want to say to everyone, oh, I've given up on rugby, I'm going to be a PT and I'm just going to play, you know, less rugby, but still earn a bit of money and just live life sweetly. In my head, that's where I was at. But to the outside world, I probably still told everyone that I was going to try and play rugby, etc. Purely to please people. You know, happy life is an easy life. So that's kind of where I went with that. It was hard for me to accept that. It was hard for me to accept that, but I'm looking back in hindsight now, I'm glad I made the decision when I made that decision.
And you think you made the right decision?
I think I did. You know, come to realization now that, as I said, I think maybe at the best of my potential, I could have been a squad player for a championship side, maybe playing a few games a season, probably turning out for their seconds in like the cup games and stuff. So, you know, probably still earning a living off of rugby, but I probably wasn't quite good enough. The team that I found myself in now, great set of boys, great coach. You know, we have a great social afterwards, and I really enjoy it there. Like, I still leave every Sunday and turn up every Tuesday, enjoying what I started playing rugby to start with. I started playing because I enjoyed it. It's not a chore. I get paid for it. It's like, that's just a bonus. I still love playing. And you know, the position that I'm in with personal training now, I had a few more hurdles to jump with PT first, but where I am now, I have a great relationship with all my clients. I work on my terms. It's just fantastic. So I've made the right decision.
Excellent. The best of both worlds. I love it.
Exactly that.
Okay, so you've made this decision then. You are going full steam ahead with PT, but you've left Virgin.
Yeah.
Where did you end up and what did you do next?
So that summer I had a few really nice holidays, went to Barbados, etc. You know, life was good. When I sort of had like a nice summer, I was still young. I played loads of sevens. Anyone in the rugby world knows what sevens is like. You know, it's like weekends away, loads of people, like playing good rugby. So I did that for a summer. And then I come back and I kind of found myself like being really lucky. From Virgin, I'd always backed myself to be quite a knowledgeable person in terms of my PT stuff. It was just approaching the clients on the gym floor, which I just didn't sit right. It's not it didn't sit right with me. It's just I wasn't confident enough to go and do that yet. So I found myself, as I said, landed on my feet at a place called Wellbeing Fitness. You know, really great place, studio in Toaster and Brackley. And the way that their business model is that they actually employ their PTs. So I was working, you know, I had my set shifts, but people would be clients of Wellbeing Fitness. So what would happen is, like, they would see the clients would see my availability, and they would then book in with me for one of their sessions. So they wouldn't actually be my clients; they'd be a client of Wellbeing, but I would see the same people every week, if you know what I mean. So I was in a salaried position, and I was really open with them guys, saying I played rugby. I can't do this evening, Saturdays, and they were really accommodating. Ian, the guy there, is a really nice owner, like really sorted me out in that fact. So I stayed there for about another 9 months, which was a really good experience because it gave me time to develop my skills as a PT, but also sort of gain my confidence in that experience. Even though that I wasn't actively seeking clients on the gym floor, it really just gave me sort of 9 months worth of experience to actually start having right professional conversations with people and really pointing in the right direction.
Yeah, that makes sense. It bridges that gap. You don't have to do the going up to people, but it allows you to gain the experience and actually being a PT.
Exactly that.
Okay, that's actually very cool. So throughout this, I'm guessing we're talking a few years ago now. I don't quite know where we are in the timeline, but where does...
So right, just to clarify, so Virgin was January 2018 to January 2018 to about July 2018. Okay. And then I had that whole summer off, just sort of not working, playing rugby, etc. And then I believe I started at Wellbeing in November 18. And then worked all the way through to September 19, and then that's where we were.
Gosh, you're young. Okay. Wow. Okay, so you've gained this kind of experience, and at the same time, you're being able to do both your rugby and your PT. So you're building your skills. So this actually isn't that long ago. So social does play a part. At what point do you think about leveraging social at this point to potentially branch out and gain more clients? Are you reasonably happy in the environment that you're in?
So this was the big thing for me, really, because in terms of, as I said before, well-being, fit around my rugby, I was delivering loads of PT sessions, I was enjoying myself. Absolutely no problems at that place. Like I could have stayed there, but I had a bit of a platform purely from just posting some personal training related stuff on a fitness account on Instagram, but it wasn't to get clients. I did it purely because I was a PT, and I saw loads of other PTs doing it. So I thought, even though that I won't be getting clients from social media because that studio is based in Toaster and I'm based in Northampton, I still want to post things on social media. I built up, like, don't get me wrong, it's nothing crazy, like maybe like 800 followers or something, purely from just me posting some of my workouts and stuff. Like I wasn't trying to get clients. As I was doing that, people naturally asked me, can you train me? What are your prices? This, that, and the other. And then I suppose that was the moment that sort of social media is the reason why I can be a PT personally, because all of my clients, bar one, which is yourself, come from my social media. They saw me on social media, they approached me. When I finally turned self-employed, anyway, they approached me. I said to be my clients. I have one client from word of mouth, being yourself, which is obviously from word of mouth. I don't have any clients from Speak to Anyone from the gym floor. All of my clients have approached me on social media.
Wow, that's pretty impressive, though. As someone who also lacks confidence in that regard and would struggle to do that, it's nice to see that there are other ways of doing it. And actually, it's great to hear that you've done it through social as well. And I think the key there is the fact you weren't using social to sell. You were doing it to genuinely offer value to people, and out of the goodness of your heart to just say, here's some good stuff, here's what I know, and I am sharing my knowledge with you. And that's what's actually been picked up on and then converted for you.
Definitely.
Yeah, that's actually really nice to hear. So I guess when we're talking social, we're talking Instagram.
Yeah.
Would you consider any other platforms? Do you think it's necessary? Are you comfortable where you are and what you're doing?
So Instagram's a beautiful thing, especially for my generation, because 99% of people use it, and it's so easy. It is so easy. In answer to your question, I do have a Facebook page, Project Hamilton. Go check it out. I do have a Facebook page, which I've had a bit of. I get a bit of interest from, but from a ignorant point of view, for me, I struggle myself on Facebook, in terms of I would never scroll Facebook myself, so I do not know what people want to see on Facebook. Okay, that is probably bad for me. You know, upon reflection, like just saying it out loud now, I should probably start doing that. Whereas Instagram, you know, that's my bread and butter. If I was bored and on my phone, I'd scroll Instagram. So I would like to know anyway. People probably think my content's rubbish, but I would. I know what people want to see on Instagram. I know the type of thing on Instagram, so I can create content, pictures, videos, etc. for that platform. So I would say Facebook is a great platform, but I don't use it enough to broadcast effectively, if that's the right word.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. I guess I'm slightly older and therefore the Facebook generation, and you're more the Instagram generation. So yeah, that makes sense. I am probably more comfortable on Facebook. I mean, I only got Instagram in January and I still don't understand it.
Okay.
but yeah, I can see what you mean exactly. It's what you're comfortable with, and actually for fitness and for what you do, it probably is a great platform because that's probably what people want to see on there as well.
And just touching on that as well, my business is directly affected by social media, not only in the fact that 90% of my clients come from social media, but when I'm consistently posting once a day, say for example, if I posted once a day for 3 weeks to a month, I can guarantee that that I would have gained a couple clients. I can guarantee it. If I go MAA, which I'm really bad at doing, like in this lockdown situation for the last 3 or 4 months, where I haven't posted at all, my business has had a direct impact in terms of not getting any new clients. So social media, the biggest thing I've learned from that is even if your content isn't great every day, if you're consistent with it, if people constantly see you, then you're more likely to generate some business or at least generate some interest.
I guess that's one of the things, though, talking of lockdown, and where you were probably in a better position and in a position to take advantage over others, in that those PTs that were using the gym floor to gain clients, suddenly there is no gym, there is no floor to gain clients. And where you've got a social media platform that potentially they don't have, you can still reach out to people, offer value, potentially gain clients through social that those people can't do. So actually that plays into your hands.
No, definitely. And I think if you look at, so there's a lot, I'm part of forums and stuff, talking about personal trainers, fitness professionals, etc. Just touching on coronavirus, is genuinely I genuinely feel like, and other people, professionals, feel that is accelerated the sort of virtual fitness business by like 5 to 10 years. I'm actually kind of scared for on the floor PT moving back, eventually do get back, purely for the fact that one, are people going to feel safe in a gym? 2, people have realized that, you know, if you're going to go to the Olympics, you can probably achieve goals at home. So, you know, why would I pay for a gym membership and why would I leave my house to go and do fitness? And 3, you know, there's so many fitness professionals doing like great online offers of home workouts, etc. Why would you pass up that opportunity for going to a gym and paying, I don't know, 30, 40, 45 pound per session for a personal trainer? So I genuinely feel that social media is going to have an even bigger part to play when lockdown finishes as well.
Yeah, no, I agree. And I guess it's probably accelerated a lot of things in terms of online, not just the fitness industry, in terms of just grocery shopping even. But okay, I've probably got like 5 questions off the back of that answer now. I need to arrange these in the right order. Oh God. Okay, so lockdown. So online coaching, in terms of how you do it. So you obviously offer face-to-face, or what was face-to-face, or that side of things, and online coaching. Look, too many questions to go at the same time. So firstly, how did you adapt in this current situation to the clients that you had for their training sessions? Let's start there.
Cool. So Yeah, I guess when the news first come out, where Boris was like, chances are that no one's going to be allowed out of the house, etc., I was like, panic, panic, panic. Yeah, I just panicked really. I got my thoughts together and come up with a solution. First of all, I'm a massive. Any of my clients will tell you, or anyone that's worked with me, that I love resistance training. Okay, weight loss resistance training, gain strength resistance training. I can't go on about it enough. The benefits, you know, I could draw a list from like my house to your house, Bob. Absolutely love it. So in my head, I was thinking, there's no way that I can bang on about resistance training 7 days a week and then have my clients doing star jumps and jumping jacks in the living room. So the first thing that I did was, and this was kind of expensive, but you know, great decision. I went to a shop and I brought every one of my clients two separate resistance bands. And from there, I delivered them all to my clients and said, look, you're going to think I'm crazy, but with these two bands, it's going to keep you going for the whole of lockdown. And that's what it's going to be. Everyone kind of looked at me funny, like, okay, so how are you going to do this? So everyone's got their resistance bands. And then we continued. I still wanted to see my clients. Okay, so what I then did was I set up myself on Zoom, which is a really nice platform, and I was able to do sessions just like me and you are doing now. Where I'd have one camera of my full body, one camera of my face so I could speak to you, and I'd get my client to set up as well, just so I can check their form, motivate them, etc. So cutting it all down, effectively what I did was I continued setting all my programs for my clients, and we kept everything like clockwork. If I saw them at Friday at 4 p.m, I would still see them at Friday at 4 p.m, but through Zoom, and we'll be using resistance bands instead of the gym. And I'm sure that you can vouch that the workouts have been just as tough and we've been getting just as much value as we're in the gym. So in terms of the last 12 to 16 weeks, it may have been a fluke, but how I adapted to that, you know, I'm really happy with.
Yeah, no, that's good. And it's actually surprising. Well, one was that I suppose I was naive enough to think that lockdown was only going to be 2 weeks. So it doesn't matter if you gave me resistance bands. I was like, this isn't going to last very long. But more so, it's just, I guess you kind of go, hang on, the Zoom session is fine. Like what you can totally understand how people potentially have PTs that aren't even in the same city as them, because there is, yes, okay, some things are slightly harder in terms of maybe adjusting form, but for the most part, a general session, a Zoom session is just as good as a face-to-face session in a gym. So why wouldn't you, I suppose?
Absolutely. And I think the biggest thing that I can take from this, and you know, if anyone is like listening and is scared of the gym, there are definitely ways that you don't have to go to the gym if it makes you anxious, if you don't want to go. There is definitely ways that you can get a good session in with a PT completely online. Obviously, I know there's online programming where you get the app up on your phone and you do it yourself. If you actually physically wanted to see a PT with, you know, if it was your long-term plan with resistance bands, maybe a kettlebell or two, you know, we're talking no more than £50 worth of equipment here. You know, you can achieve 90% of things that the general population want to achieve in a gym. So that should not be something that's holding you back.
Yeah, no, that's great. Just before I ask my next question, guys, for those that are joining us live, if you do have any questions for Jamel, drop them in the comments and we will get to them. And we'll just ask them as they come up. So feel free to ask anything there. Okay, so going back to lockdown, because I think this is quite key. So has lockdown made you rethink potentially your strategy coming out of lockdown and how you train? Or is it a case of actually all of a sudden, or maybe not all of a sudden, but slowly over the next kind of month or so, things will start opening up and you'll just revert back to how you were training people before?
Okay, so that's a tough one. You know, people saying everything, you know, oh, I'm going to change because of this, and you know, then you go back to your old ways. At the start of lockdown, me and my friend Tristan, Revamp Fitness, works out the gym group in Northampton, great guy, go check him out. We sat down in a room together and we were like, how are we going to keep training interesting for our guys? Okay, so number one thing when I'm setting people programs are, what are their goals? What do we need to achieve to get to their goals? Okay, and then secondly, I think, how can I keep this interesting for them so they don't get bored? Okay, we sat down and we brainstormed 60 to 70 different resistant band exercises, and we were like, wow. Just sitting down and thinking outside the box, we thought of so many different things that if we were stood in the gym, we would never have thought of. So the thing that I want to take away from this is yeah, go back to your, the bottom of your pyramid, the absolute foundations that you use the gym for, absolutely use that. But when it comes to varying exercises, making things harder, use the resistant bands, think outside the box, because other methods do work. Just because something is easy to program, say for example, program something else. And I love that because I'm a great believer that, especially in personal training, not every client is the same. Every client will be different. So person A would differ from person B, from different stimuluses. So by actually opening my mind and having to think outside the box with different exercises, programming strategies, etc., I hope this has really developed me as a PT, and I hope that I can take some of that into me when I go back to a gym setting, say for example.
Yeah, no, that makes a lot of sense. In terms of the industry and other PTs that are out there, are there any particular ones that you kind of look up to, or kind of not like copy, but there are those that are like sort of inspiration to you or anything like that?
Okay, so if we're going purely on a work rate ethic, sort of actually has a genuine care about their clients, me from being one of his clients, there's a guy called Chris Speed, Instagram handles k.speed, I think. Going back to the social media side of things, this is just a guy that I saw from a friend of a friend's Instagram, and he's consistent. He posts every day. He posts good content. He's constantly on his story giving good feedback to myself as a coach. Like, I learn off of him. That's perfect. Like, I open that. Like, that's absolutely amazing. And he was actually so good that I messaged him and said, "Yo, are you gonna coach me?" And I had a bit of a shoulder injury pre-lockdown, so I had to stop training. But I will definitely be going back to him for some of my Olympic lifting stuff. So in terms of just a pure social media type of thing, he's so good. If I could post every day that level of content, he's doing loads of great stuff with Black Lives Matters now and stuff. So I would say one guy that I not personally, but personally know. So I've never met him, but obviously he's been my coach online and stuff. And he's great. So k.speed. If we're talking about someone who's actually changed the industry, I can't really look further than James Smith. In terms of making fitness general language is what I would call it. Yeah. Making fitness like a general thing, in terms of, in the fitness industry, PTs will try, and some PTs anyway, will try and use the most technical terms. I think something sounds complicated, so try and entice clients to think, oh, I need to go and see a PT, etc. What James Smith actually does is say, look, there is a lot of complicated stuff, but if you just want to lose a little bit of fat, you've just got to do this. So you go and do that, and he gives it to you in the most simple form, which is what I try and, which is one of the lessons that I've taken. I try and say to my clients, I try and say things like how they are, but then also break them down to them so that they understand it. If someone comes out of a PT session, we've done something, and they don't understand why we've done it, then they're going to be my client for the next 10 years. no disrespect, I love all my clients, but I don't want anyone to be my client for 10 years. If someone's still my client after 10 years, unless we just really enjoy each other's company, I need to actually teach them, you know, what they need to know to be able to go and do a session by themselves. You know, sometimes my clients now, I plan their compound lifts and all their main stuff. So say if they want a better bench press, I will program all that to them, but I'll say, look, John, you haven't trained your delts. You know how to train your delts. You go and train your delts for 15 minutes by yourself. I'll go and look over it. It's got to be educational as well. If you don't educate people so they know what they're doing in their sessions and why they're doing it and what effects that have, then you're failing at your job as a personal trainer.
I just being sacked as a client. That's what I took from that. No, I think that's an absolutely great mentality to have. And again, it's one of those things that that's exactly what you look for. You would pay a premium to speak to somebody who genuinely wants to help and offer value and teach someone, rather than someone who's in it for the money, in it for themselves, and is just you're just like another person to them. So no, that's lovely. Okay, so what is the best piece of advice you have ever received?
In general or fitness related?
In general.
Don't care what other people think. Anyone that knows me knows that I will walk into a room and I'll put a brave face on, but at heart I'd be thinking, are they judging me? And relating that back to my PT experience, you know, terrified going for my job at Wellbeing, because when I was being assessed by a fellow PT who'd been a PT for about 10 years, a really nice guy, but I was putting myself because I knew I had it myself to deliver a good session, but I would constantly question myself, oh, what does he think of my session? And sort of from that day, I've kind of sort of delivered everything with confidence and just try to not be ignorant. So I definitely take people's comments on board, but while you're doing it, never worry about what other people think.
I think that's a good piece of advice. Talking of advice, if you were to give your 18-year-old self starting out on this journey some advice, what would it be?
Go and get yourself a coach. So actually be coached by a PT. So be coached by somebody else. Because being coached by somebody else, you can take what they have done well. So this person messaged me every Monday to see how I was doing about the previous week. That worked really well. So then I can take that into my business and add value to my clients. Okay. That coach did something great in that area. So you would then think, I noticed that. So one of my clients will notice that. So how do I add value in that area? So my number one advice would be go and get yourself a coach, because you can learn so much more off someone coaching you, because you know what works well and what doesn't work as good. Yeah,
no, that makes a lot of sense actually, because then you can see it from the flip side and you can see what you would like in that situation. So why would your client be any different?
Exactly.
Yeah, okay. What's what do you enjoy about your job the most?
Okay, so I asked a couple clients at the start of lockdown. But if I look at my current client base, I have good relationships with every single one of my clients. Okay, and you know, every PT is different, but the main thing for me is that I know that I can text you, for example, and I can start the text with yo. You know what I mean? Like, we have a great relationship. I absolutely love that. If I had a job where it was like, you know, I imagine in most office jobs, I know someone says it to me, I had to speak to this person today, but I didn't want to. Yeah. Every one of my clients I want to speak to, I want to see every week. I want them to turn up to get better so they get better. I want them to turn up so I can speak to them. You know what I mean? Like, it's so rewarding in that sense. So yeah, that would be the main thing. It's so personal. So actually through this lockdown, when the restrictions were really tight and I could see you on FaceTime for an hour, that was amazing. It felt like an escape. I got to do my job, which I love doing. And also as well, you know, people like yourself get to vent their problems to me. And if I've helped someone through their training, you know, they were able to do their first press up. Well done, Bhavna. If they were able to do their first press up, or, you know, if they were just having a tough time at home and I could help them in that way, as long as they've come out that session feeling better about themselves and went into it, then you know, that's a win for me.
You're just such a lovely guy, aren't you? Can you just... I'm not even being biased. I can't even say anything else. Okay, one last question before we go into some rapid fire. In terms of your journey, is there any one, or are there a few potential failures or things that didn't quite work out how you'd expected, or that you would maybe do differently now, or something that at the time didn't seem great, but actually in hindsight was a learning, or something that actually turned out to be a success and actually a good thing for you?
Yeah, so it was at the start. So I've been self-employed since September 19. Are we in 2020, are we? Jesus, this year's gone so quick.
Yeah, I know.
since September 19, I was self-employed. And at the start, I would be very sort of, people would be doing me a favor if they trained with me. Say, for example, if they decided to train with me, people would be doing me a favor. That comes from a lack of confidence. Now I know, then, you know, it's down to me to deliver a good service. If I put in a lot of hard graft and effort, people only see the hour that you do in session with them. They don't see the 45 minutes to an hour a week that you do planning their sessions, reading over their sessions that they've done the previous week, replying to them via WhatsApp, being available 24/7 over a call, creating social media content. People don't see that as a personal trainer. So at the start, it was kind of I was doing people a favor if they were training for me. So if I could change one thing, it would be having that confidence to go back and actually say, I deliver a good service. I work hard for this service. I want you to train with me and get better with me. But this is what I value my service at effectively. So yeah, that would be the one thing, confidence in what I was delivering.
Yeah, that makes sense. Because you're right. Because as a client turning up, you're just like, well, it's a 60-minute session. You can't kind of turn up and you do a workout. But you're right. There is so much that goes behind that. And I guess actually, I know I don't have a lot of experience with PTs, but I've heard a lot of things as well. But a lot of PTs do just turn up and do that one session, whereas with you, it is an entire service. You do have the nutrition talks. You do have the planned program for the week. You are available to ask all these questions. And now I know I sound like I'm just selling you, but I do mean it. And that's how you can tell when someone actually genuinely loves what they do and wants to offer value. You can see it, and it comes across, rather than just turn up, 60 minutes, see ya. See you next week. Exactly. Yeah. It's a whole different experience. Okay. Are you ready for some rapid fire?
Let's do it. Yeah.
All right. Okay. What's the first word that comes to your mind right now?
Food.
Speaking of food, what's your favorite pizza topping?
Pepperoni.
If you could have one superpower, what would it be?
Be quicker. Be quick. I've always been slow. So I'd love to be quick. In thought as well.
Yeah, maybe. I actually thought you'd frozen there. I was like, I've lost you. Okay, no. What TV show are you binge watching right now?
Game of Thrones.
Not seen that. Probably the only person on earth. What's the top thing to do on your bucket list?
Bungee jump.
Oh, okay. If you could go back or forward in time to any period of time, where would it be and why?
I would go back to when I was about 3 years old, because I didn't have a worry in the world.
I thought you were about to say because you had this great like food experience or something. It's like I was just sitting there and eating.
No, she didn't have a worry in the world.
Yeah, no, that's fair. Are you a morning or an evening person?
Evening.
Pancakes or waffles?
Pancakes.
iOS or yeah, that's very true. I was going to say both if you asked me. But yeah, that's sad. I feel for you.
Thank you.
iOS or Android?
iOS.
Texting or talking?
Texting.
Netflix or YouTube?
Netflix.
TV or book?
TV.
Winter or summer?
Summer.
Pen or pencil?
Pencil. I make two.
Passenger or driver?
Driver.
Cooking or baking?
Cooking.
I wasn't sure if you were going to say neither there.
No, cooking. I'm not that bad. One.
You've made it. You've passed the rapid fire. Well done.
Fantastic. Cheers.
That was fun. Guys, if you've got any last minute questions, do drop them in the comments box. Otherwise, I think we will wrap up. For anybody watching who doesn't know, Jamel is on Instagram at project.hamilton. And also he has a website, projecthamilton.co.uk. So if you are after a PT and just want to talk like PT related stuff, I'm sure he'll have a conversation with you. Get in touch. I realize I'm going to sound biased, but honestly, such a great guy and a great personal trainer and someone who genuinely just wants to help. In case that didn't come across in the interview already, I think that came across loud and clear. Right, I think that just about wraps it up. So, Jamel, thank you very, very much for joining us tonight.
Thanks for having me, Bhavna. Pleasure.
It's been great. So yeah, I guess we wrap up. So thank you to those who joined us live. The audio recording will go up as a podcast tomorrow evening. If you didn't manage to catch all of it, this recording will stay on Facebook if you want to see it, and will also be uploaded to YouTube. For any future interviews or updates about guests, then go and check out my Instagram, which is @ProjectLifeAdmin. And you can stay up to date with everything there. Otherwise, thank you all for joining. And I'll see you guys next week, same time, same place, with a different guest. Thank you, everybody. See you next week.
Thank you.
Bye.